Welcome to Intelligent Black People, and today I want to talk about what it means to be an alpha male. Alpha male, that term, you hear that a lot. You hear it all over the internet. And I saw somebody that did a video where he said that if you are not paying 100% of the bills, then you cannot be an alpha male. So we're going to get started on this. Get comfortable, buck up, seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black economics and Black wealth every day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day under one condition. The condition is that we'd like for you to be Black first. Black first means that we put our community at the top of our priority list. Black first means that we solve our own problems. We build for self. We do for self. We believe Black people can do anything if we put our minds to it. If you agree with that philosophy, put a hashtag B in the number one of the chat. Everybody in the B1 community, put your hashtag B1 in the chat. Use that hashtag everywhere you go on social media. So today I was thinking about something that I wanted to talk to you guys about that I just wanted to get your perception on. And it has to do with this term alpha male, right? I thought about this and I've seen video content, and you guys know I'm a big believer in the importance of manhood. I believe that we cannot restore the Black community without restoring the Black man. Y'all, I know, ladies, y'all know y'all killing it, but y'all ain't going nowhere without the men. You ain't going nowhere without the men. And the real Black women get that. Real Black women know that we need men, we need fathers, we need masculine energy in the community in order to be successful. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? So, when you talk about what it means to be an alpha male, I think it's very important to really kind of think about what that means and whether or not being an alpha male is really the objective anyway. Like, what is an alpha male exactly? Where does the term come from? A lot of us hear these terms and we have our own inclination as to what being an alpha male means, right? Alpha, like maybe think about like a fraternity line or a sorority line. You've got the alpha in the front, right? Alpha is first, like the leader. Maybe you think about alpha, you might think about, I don't know, Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan might be seen as an alpha male, alpha dog. Like, I'm taking charge. I'm going to, get the team to the championship. But then you have maybe in sports, you have other kinds of alpha males, like LeBron James. Right, LeBron James is also an alpha because he's the best at what he does. He's a team leader, and also he but he has a different style from Michael Jordan, right? If you talk to people about Michael, you get a very different answer from when you talk to people about LeBron. LeBron is what I call a leader, whereas Jordan is a dominator. Jordan is an oppressive, dominating force for the most part. From what I've read, from what I've seen, from people I've talked to, a lot of people aren't happy because they felt that he kind of led in a very almost selfish sort of way. Like, it's me. I think they said something. They said, Michael, there's no I in team. He said, but there is an I in win. And so that was a famous statement that he made. Whereas LeBron kind of had a different energy. LeBron usually makes his teammates better. He's kind of thinking in a more cooperative framework. He's willing to pass the ball. He's willing to let somebody else take the lead. So that's a different style of leadership without overusing that term alpha and beta. That's just a different style of leadership. Now, if you, what's interesting, I paid attention to this because on the internet, there's a lot of talk about alpha male this, and especially, with a lot of relationship talk. And I've seen people, kind of say things like, I'm part of a group of alpha males. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, actually, if you're really an alpha male, you're not supposed to be like part of a group. Like, alpha males don't typically blend in, right? The alpha is usually the guy who's at the top. My camera's a little blurry. Let me see if I can unblur that. There we go. Does that help? I hope that's better. All right, so y'all can see me better now. The idea of the alpha male kind of blending in and being average is obviously not something that we envision. So here's what I did, right? Being the nerd that I am, I went and I did some research on what it means to be an alpha. I think that we instinctively kind of know what the alpha is, who the alpha is, right? The alpha, I think, tends to be the guy that everyone pays attention to, the guy that kind of parts the waters, the guy that seems to have the power. When I think about alpha, I think power. Like, you're the leader, you're the one that everybody defers to, you're the one that people follow, you're the one that kind of wins. If there's a football game, the alpha team is the team that wins, and the beta team is the team that has to take second place. Beta is second, which would be second place. That's another way to kind of look at it. So let me tell you guys what you all said. I did a poll on my Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, by the way. Follow me on Twitter if you are intelligent and Black and you want to hang out with intelligent Black people. If you're stupid, don't follow me. But if you're smart, feel free. You're welcome to follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins and then the number 1, Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. And so I did a I did a post and I asked this basic question. I'll show you the video in a second so you can hear what the brother said that made me kind of think about this a little bit. Let me share my screen here. All right. So I said, if a man considers himself an alpha male, does this mean he should always pay 100% of the bills and his woman pays nothing? And 61% of you said no. 26% of you said yes. So a quarter of the respondents said yes, he has to pay all the bills if he wants to be an alpha. 13% of you said not sure. Now, I want to ask you all this question. So, and I'm going to show you the video clip that made me think about this. Do you think, give me a yes or no, if a man says, I'm an alpha male, I'm the alpha, I'm the man, I'm the boss, I'm the king, I'm all that stuff, right? Do you think that that means that he's required to cover all the bills? Like, let's say that he says, I'm the boss, but my wife pays 50% of the bills, or I'm the boss and my wife pays more because she makes more money than me. What do you think? I mean, do you think that yes or no? Can he still call himself an alpha, or is he not an alpha anymore? Is he a beta now that he's letting the woman kind of cover half the bills and stuff like that? What do y'all think? Yes or no? Yes, he's an alpha. Yes, he can still be an alpha. No, you wrote yourself out of the alpha book by letting your wife pay half the bills. All right. Okay, so let's see here. I'm looking to see. Joshua says, nah, money is money. Okay, I don't know what that means, Joshua, but okay, thank you for your answer. Stephanie Ray says no. I don't think he has to pay all the bills, but the major ones, yes. Okay, D says no, he's not an alpha. Yes, Sadia. Okay, all right, so let me share the video clip that got me thinking about a lot of this, that really kind of, made me sort of have this conversation, because I really think it's important to kind of process what manhood and womanhood means to you, because there's a lot of interesting stuff I see in terms of people sort of jockeying for position, like I'm not gonna let nobody disrespect me, and I'm gonna do this, and it's a tough line, right? Because you don't want to be disrespected, but at the same time, humility is a virtue, right? So having the humility to kind of not take everything personally is one thing, but then not letting people disrespect you is another. So let me play this video. Let me know if you can hear the video. I'm going to play it right now. Let me turn this up. I put it up on my Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. So if you're watching on Instagram, it's already up there. I'm going to play this right now, and you can definitely hear it. So here's what he had to say. He said this.
Every man is alpha until it's time to do alpha things like provide, protect, and shelter. Those are self-explanatory. Provide seems to be the hardest part of you men. If you don't provide and you make a woman go 50-50, or you guys got to save up, nothing about you is alpha. That's okay, though.
Okay, so let me play it again.
Every man is alpha until it's time to do alpha things like provide, protect, and shelter. Those are self-explanatory. Provide seems to be the hardest part of you men. If you don't provide and you make a woman go 50-50, or you guys got to save up, nothing about you is alpha. That's okay, though.
Okay. All right. So he says that if your woman's going 50-50, nothing about you is alpha. What do you think? What do y'all think? Do you think nothing about you is alpha if you go 50-50? What do y'all think? Give me a yes or no. Do you agree with what he said? Do you agree or disagree? Type agree or disagree in the chat if you agree or disagree with what he said. Let me know. All right. Without money, you hold no status. Okay, that's an honest point of view. Okay, disagree. I agree. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Stephanie says that's the video I had in mind. I'm not saying he's less than a man. He's just not an alpha man. Okay. So alpha is spending even though she has money too. I don't think so. Disagree says Cleveland Blaze. Tiara says I agree. Janet Jenkins says I agree. All right. So why am I bringing this up? Well, because you guys know my background is financial, not just finance, but financial psychology, right? And the first book I ever wrote was actually called Financial Lovemaking. I wrote it back in 2006, and it was basically all about how money shifts relationships, right? And I interviewed so many people. I interviewed a lot of people, and I remember noticing in particular two things. One, a lot of men, and myself included, define ourselves based on whether or not we have money. Like when a man has money, literally it affects your brain the way cocaine affects, the way a drug affects your brain. When a man has money, he's more confident. You ever see when somebody takes a drug or they get a drink, they got to drink in order to be more confident. Well, money does that. Money gets you high. Money gives you it makes you feel like, okay, I'm the man. Let me buy up the bar. And then you start seeing what really, if they were animals in the wild, these would be mating calls, right? Like I'm going to now be the loudest guy. I'm in the club. I'm going to buy bottles for everybody, right? And those are things that are, I think, encouraged heavily throughout the culture, right? You look at hip hop culture, it's all about throwing the money up, buying up the bar, buying $350,000 earrings, and then putting it on Instagram. Hint, hint. If anybody saw that video, and it's interesting, right? Because if you recall, but now what I'm making reference to is I talked to my friend who's a rapper, D1, and D1 mentioned to me that there was a guy, YK Osiris, I think that's his name, who spent $350,000 on some earrings, and he was talking about it on Instagram. So Chad Ochocinco, who also might be defined as an alpha male in his own right, because he's one of the greatest football players of all time. He's made millions of dollars. He says that he's still filthy rich. He comes back and says, I got those same earrings for $10 at Claire's, right? So you shining and I'm shining just like you, but you drop 350 grand to the white man to pretend like you're an alpha. And because I know that I'm an alpha, I don't need to go give away my money in order to prove that. I'm going to go buy the $10 earrings at Claire's and prove my alpha status money in the bank. Do you follow what I'm saying? Right? Like, and it's okay. It's an age difference, right? There's a difference between thinking that you are the leader versus knowing that you are the leader, right? I want you to pay attention. When you're talking about sort of thinking you're the leader or thinking that you're the alpha, it's like a process where you have to consistently prove to yourself and to others that you're the alpha, because maybe deep down you're not really sure. So sometimes being loud and boisterous and doing things to show alpha status is a way of saying that you're not sure that you have alpha status. Like, I'm gonna grow a beard, I'm gonna get a big chain, and I'm gonna make sure everybody sees it. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna floss. I'm gonna have diamonds. I'm gonna be shining on my wrist, right? Because I want you to know I have a certain status, right? And then what's interesting though is that if you go look at people that really have like heavy duty status, like heavy power, they don't really have symbols of power around them. Because they know they have the power if they need it, right? It's like the kung fu master who doesn't go around kicking anybody's ass. He's the one who doesn't want to fight anybody because he knows, look, if you fight me, I'm gonna kill you, right? Mr. Miyagi, anybody remember Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid? Mr. Miyagi was never looking for a fight. Mr. Miyagi was like, can't we solve this in some other way? Because I don't want to have to dominate you in order to prove to you that I am the dominant person in this relationship. How about we become friends? And then that way we can avoid all of this altogether. Because if you push me too far, it's going to be very unpleasant for you. And I'm going to be a little bit sad because I just had to whoop your ass. Right. So to me, what I saw with Chad Ochocinco versus the YK Osiris guy is I saw the immaturity, the insecurity that comes with immaturity, and the insecurity of immaturity. I saw, because to me, the idea that I'm going to prove my status to the world by giving $350,000 away to white people, that doesn't add up. That doesn't make a lot of sense when you talk about having a strategic plan in order to achieve certain goals. But that's something maybe he'll grow into. And I think that he's probably right to be offended that Chad Ochocinco kind of dissed him a little bit online. And some young people take that the wrong way. They don't take that as advice. They don't take that as wisdom. They take that as, oh man, he's trying to humiliate me. He's trying to front on me, right? And I don't know how he's going to take that, but it is what it is. Now, here's what I will say in that light. First of all, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. And also boycewatkins.com is where you can go. We have stock market investing class tomorrow. If you want to join us, just go to boycewatkins.com. If you're on Instagram, the link is in the bio. You can do a free trial. Leave me your questions now, and I will answer your questions tomorrow in class. So just leave them in advance, and I'll research it, whatever. You want me to look into a certain stock for you, whatever it is you want me to do, we can cover all that in class. So here's what I found when I looked up this alpha male thing. First thing I can say is this. If you talk about just generally from best practices, my wife's a relationship therapist and she's smart and powerful in her own right. And she had her own money and I had money, and we came together. We didn't come together in a dominator kind of position. It was more like she's doing her thing. I'm doing my thing. I support her. She supports me. That's totally okay with me. And one of the things that I have observed in relationships in general is that different people have different views of gender roles, right? So if you're talking about the financial interaction between two people, the reason I think that your answers were all over the place in response to this is because for some people, your economic contribution is extremely important. If somebody is in a situation where economics is their weakness, like their money is tight, then they are going to evaluate you based on whether your money is strong. right? A woman who is struggling, and actually, statistically speaking, it's real interesting. On one hand, black women are killing it, starting more businesses than everybody else, got more free cash flow than everybody else, have more education than everybody else. But on the darker side of that, the lowest net worth in America, actually, the lowest median net worth in America is that of a single black mother. So when you have kids, especially ladies, if you have kids with the wrong guy who can't even contribute financially on any level to the well-being of your children, you're probably going to be in for an epic fucking struggle. And so it doesn't make sense for you to lay down with somebody who can't bring nothing to the table because, you know, like when they say ain't nothing going on but the rent. Yeah, the rent must be paid before anything else can happen, right? Before anything else can happen, food has to be put on the table, the rent has to be paid. And so what I have observed actually is situations where because you decide your gender roles in specific relationships, the roles change based on who's bringing what kind of economic strength, right? So if you have let's say you have a man that has money and he's with a woman that has money. I'll just use myself and Alicia as an example. Because we live in a household where money's not an issue, it doesn't matter who pays. We don't even keep track of that. Like, I can't impress my wife by paying for everything. I just can't. I can't be like, hey, baby, look at, I'm shining, girl. Let me pay that tab, girl. Let me buy up the bar, girl. All y'all hoes, watch me buy up the bar. I can't. That doesn't work. She's not impressed by any of that, right? And where does that come from? Well, because she had a strong father who handled all of that, who was able to handle his business. So it's not like she's impressed by a man providing financially. She wants things that are more emotional, right? Like I impress her with being sensitive and listening to her and giving her my attention, right? Everybody has a love language. And so what will happen is, like, if we go out and we buy something, we don't even know who paid for it. I'll be like, oh, did you use your credit card? She'll be like, yeah, I already paid for it. I'll be like, okay, great. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's where gender differences do come into play. I see my role as like, okay, I'm going to let you pay it because I'm not really thinking about that because money's not an issue. But let's say we run into a situation where money is an issue. And then let's say we ran into a situation where there was not enough money to provide for the household. I would feel probably like instant pressure or to fix that, right? Like, I would feel like, okay, that's my responsibility to handle that, right? And so in a way, I think that this is what I'm noticing in a lot of professional relationships or relationships where both people are doing well economically, is that there is it's a little bit of an expectation and a little bit of a measuring stick that a man can kind of handle himself financially. I think that if you are a man and you have nothing to bring to the table financially and you feel a little bit uncomfortable with that, well, that's kind of natural, to be honest with you. To be, it's not, you're not making that up. And also, there are studies that show that women are less attracted to men who are not able to help them solve the most urgent problems in their life, right? So if the babies are starving and a little baby need a new pair of shoes and can't get no shoes, and you're living in a house with the lights off, well, then yeah, they're gonna look at the daddy, right? So there is something about preserving masculinity by being able to bring something to the table. But one thing I think is false is to think that if you bring money to the table, that you've brought it all to the table, that necessarily bringing more money makes you a better man. I don't think that's true at all. And what I see is a lot of people that think that because they have more money, they're automatically just a better option. And I think people are more complex than that. I think that that the ability to be a leader in a household goes far deeper than just saying I can pay all the bills. Because believe me, I've been able to pay the bills for a long time. I was making over $100,000 a year 20 something years ago. Like, I've always had money, but the money is literally like the thing that just handles the business, so that you can then get to the business that actually matters. Okay. So leading the family is not just about a financial contribution. And I encourage men to really just kind of consider that. Now, if you talk about, if you want to go deeper into this alpha male terminology, let me give you, there's an article in the Greater Good at berkeley.edu. So it looks like it's an article written at Berkeley University. I don't know who wrote it. I'll dig it up. And here's one thing that was interesting. They did an analysis of what women were attracted to based on whether a man had a perceived alpha male status. And I'm gonna read some of this to you and just kind of break bits and pieces. It's a long article. It's at the greatergood.berkeley.edu if you want to go, if you're into like smart stuff. And so it says, in terms of non-dominant adjectives, the biggest winners that women were actually attracted to were terms like confident. They said they like men that are confident and men that are assertive, but they do not like men that are demanding and aggressive, right? So demanding and aggressive are negatives, confident and assertive are positives. So there is something to the alpha male leader role that is attractive to women. But if you are a person who is who feels like you've got to kind of jump out there and always take charge of everything, and so again, going back to the financial thing, if you're kind of like, no, I have to pay everything, I gotta pay it all, I gotta pay it all, I gotta pay it all, no, put your money back, I gotta pay it all, right? If you're like that because you're trying to always prove that you're the alpha, that actually comes off as a type of insecurity, actually. And so what they find is that the confident male, the one who says, you know what, I could pay it, but you know what, you go ahead and pay it, that guy is actually more appealing than the guy who's like constantly trying to prove his manhood, right? If you're constantly trying to defend something, that usually means that you're afraid that of what will happen if you can't defend it, right? So ultimately, they found that that was more appealing. What else did they say? They said that things like easygoing and sensitive were extremely important to women. No woman wanted a man who was submissive, either in a date or in romance. The analysis was revealing because it suggests that dominance can take many forms. The dominant male who is demanding, violent, and self-centered is not considered attractive to most women. So if you are demanding, like you just feel like you got to have it yourself, and you're violent, right? That toxic stuff, right? Self-absorbed, like you're a narcissist. Well, then a lot of people don't want to. And ladies, if you ever run into a narcissist, like, I mean, I don't see, and some women can be narcissists, right? That's just not attractive. Whereas the dominant male who is assertive and confident is considered attractive. As the research suggests, quote, men who dominate others because of leadership qualities and other superior abilities, and who therefore are able and willing to provide for their families, quite possibly will be preferred to potential partners who lack these attributes. These results also suggest that sensitivity and assertiveness are not opposites. In fact, further research suggests that the combination of kindness and assertiveness might just be the most attractive pairing. Across 3 studies, Laurie Jansen Campbell and colleagues found that it wasn't dominance alone, but rather the interaction of dominance and pro-social factors that women reported were particularly sexually attractive. In other words, dominance only increased sexual attraction when the person was already high in agreeableness and altruism. So that means that being a good guy, when they say good guys come last, I don't believe that's true. I think maybe wimps come last. I think losers come last. But if you are a winner and you're a good guy, then that to me, you know what I think about when I think about winner and good guy? I think about a guy like LeBron James. He's not a Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is a bastard to a lot of. I mean, I'm not saying he's a complete bastard, but if you talk to people that are around him, they're like, "Oh, I can stand that dude." Right? LeBron gets accolades from lots of people. People are like, "Yeah, I love playing with him. Playing with him was the best years of my life, man. It was awesome." Blah blah blah. Right? So both of those guys will bring you the championship, but LeBron will engage in the type of leadership that makes everybody better, right? So what I would say is, if you're talking about alpha status, I would almost say, and I'm not any expert on what it means to be an alpha male. I don't even think about that in the morning, but I have dominated. I've won lots of things. I was like getting my PhD required a tremendous amount of assertiveness and conviction and hard work and courage and tenacity and ferocity and all that. So, I'm 50. I ain't gotta prove that shit to nobody. I know what it means to have accomplished something, right? But I don't care to be an expert on what alpha maleism is. And I really don't give a shit if weak ass second level men are saying, well, you're a simp because you love your wife. Well, fuck you. You're stupid. So the point here to say, though, is that when you're talking about being a good man, a quality man, and now that's what's interesting to me. Being the alpha is not, to me, the best objective. I think being a quality human being is really what you're aiming for. And being a quality man means that you can ask yourself this basic question. I figured it out. I broke it down to one important question. This is Uncle Boyce mode coming in. I hope it's okay if I go into Uncle Boyce mode for 1 second. I'll go back to Dr. Boyce, the finance guy, in a second, but I got to give you Uncle Boyce. The question I believe every man should ask himself is this: are people's lives better or worse because they came in contact with me? Am I an asset or liability to those around me? When people are in my circle, because as a man you have a certain power. As a man you have a certain amount of power. You just, especially if you are a hardworking man, if you're a determined man, if you're a focused man, and you're a committed man, you have high energy. People are going to be affected by the things you do. And one thing that always concerned me about some of the Kevin Samuels hardcore like alpha male talk, like I'm gonna shut down everybody who disagrees with me. I'm not dissing Kevin at all, because Kevin defended me. Actually, Kevin did a whole podcast about me. Somebody, I didn't even know he did it, and he was very nice toward me. So I'm not in any way being negative toward him. But what I will say is the reason you don't see me getting on board with the whole like I'm going to dominate no matter what kind of mindset is because that kind of makes you like the biggest asshole in the room. And if you're the biggest asshole in the room, then that means you're the biggest, stinkiest piece of shit in that space. And you're right. No, everyone's gonna respond to you, and people are gonna want to walk away from you. Like you can't build a family around that. You can't build community around that. You can't build genuine, relevant, and meaningful power around that. Sure, sometimes it's required for people to fear you, but also it's okay to also create a space where people can love you. Right? If people can love you, but also understand, that you're going to handle your business, then I think that's more ideal than simply saying I dominate because I kick everyone's ass. And if you disagree with me, I'm going to out yell you. I'm going to make you feel like shit. I'm going to make you feel like dirt. I'm going to tell you that you're going to die alone if you don't listen to me. I'm just, that bothers me. That bothers my soul. That doesn't sit well with me. That does not sit well with the kind of energy, the kind of cooperative energy that we need as Black people to build up each other, to build up our children, to build up our community, so we can go fight that white man. Because racism is a team sport. Wealth is a team sport. All these things are team sports, and you cannot compete in a team sport when everybody wants to be an alpha male ball hog. Right? The alpha male persona, Russell Westbrook, that's an example. He plays in the NBA. Russell Westbrook is an alpha dog. He always wants the ball. He always wants to shoot. He always wants to score the most points. He always wants to get the triple double. And guess what? Russell Westbrook ain't won one goddamn championship and will probably never win one for his whole entire career. Why? Well, because you have to have some degree of cooperative nature in order to win. Even Michael Jordan, just going with the sports analogy, again, using another alpha example, Michael Jordan was, until he learned how to be a better teammate, he wasn't able to win. If you remember Michael Jordan in the 1980s, Michael Jordan was the ultimate alpha. He would snatch the ball from you, yell at you. He scored all the points. He would demand the damn ball. And every time he would get defeated by a team, the Pistons would come along and say, we're not trying to be alphas. We're trying to be teammates. And as a team, they always kicked his ass. It wasn't until Michael Jordan learned how to be a teammate that he was able to overcome the Detroit Pistons and win his first championship. Does anybody remember that? Anybody old enough to remember what happened? If y'all youngins who don't know, go back and look at the archives. Watch Michael Jordan's first career for the first 7 years. He was very frustrated because being the alpha and being the solo, he was never able to win anything. But once he learned how to be a great teammate, he learned how to pass the ball, he learned how to play defense, he learned how to widen his game out and get everybody involved. Then he was able to win. So my advice to anybody that's listening, and I don't know everything. I'm not an expert on nothing. Maybe I'm an expert on some stuff, but I'm not the be all end all. I would encourage you, if you want to learn how to win, learn how to be a great teammate. Be strong, be assertive, be confident, but also be emotionally intelligent. Learn how to bring the best out of other people. Be a good person. Assholes don't win. I believe at the end of the day, assholes always get what they have coming. They think they're winning in the beginning, and then eventually the community comes together and shuts the asshole out of the building. Don't be the asshole that people have to shut out, because that's not a happy life to live. All right. So anyway, I hope that helps. That was my 2 cents. Those are my thoughts. Take it or leave it. And by the way, don't forget, tomorrow we're doing stock market investing class. So if you want to come in 11 a.m. Eastern every Tuesday, that's when we meet. You can ask me questions, send your questions in advance. And you can do a free trial, actually. The whole first month is free. So go to boycewatkins.com, and the link is right there at the top. Or if you're on Instagram, the link is in the bio. So feel free to take a look at that. Also, actually, speaking of family stuff, my wife, is a licensed therapist, and a full professor of social work. And we're doing a class called The Drama-Free Family. And we noticed a lot of people have baby mama, baby daddy drama, dealing with parental alienation, dealing with crazy child support issues or whatever. So basically what we did is we did a deep dive intensive. It's going to be a weekend long digital retreat. So you can join from anywhere in the world. It's going to be December 5th. And so if you want to learn more about that, you can go to thedramafreefamily.com, thedramafreefamily.com. And that's where we talk about how to communicate properly, how to connect with the kids in a certain way. Just all the things that you run into with family. We covered a lot of that. So feel free to go take a look. It's thedramafreefamily.com. I'll put the URL on the screen if you want to go take a look. And we're going to do that next weekend. It's going to be all weekend long. All right, guys. So take care. God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will see you soon. Take care. Peace.